harm. There's harm associated with it, and we want to decrease that harm. And if someone has a bad experience and has biopsy and they hate it, they won't come back and do the screening, and now you're decreasing the chance that something good will come of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I definitely think that.
Or you pick up inadvertent DCIS and you torture someone over it, and they're really unhappy. That's not good.
And what is it? Can you address that briefly? The controversy, like it seemed like the whole place was in an uproar when the DCIS thing came up. What is it? What do you see? What's the issue?
So these are pre-malignant changes or pre-cancers. We assume because it kind of looks the same, but it's confined to the milk duct. These cancer cells are confined to the milk duct, that it's the same. But it's not a cancer. DCIS doesn't kill anyone. If DCIS progresses to invasive cancer, it can.
How often does that happen?
Well, again, I think people assume that that would necessarily happen. And I think that we have to question those assumptions because we found so much DCIS with 60,000 cases a year. And as you see, the rates have increased and stayed up without, nor if that were true and we were taking these precursors or these out of the population, at some point you'd start to see a drop.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen it.
We haven't.
And so you have to then say, maybe all these aren't obligate precursors, and some of these, maybe some are, but some aren't. So we have.
Are there being studies?
Yeah. So people are starting, and people have been trying to do this, but I think people have to say, look, these can't all be progressive lesions. Exactly. So let's be more circumspect about it. And I think one way to help this dialogue is to say, there's certain kinds of DCIS that probably have a long trajectory. That's prevention. And let's sort of take, so I put out a bold statement to try and get people to be really more thoughtful about it. And also, then you can say, well, maybe that's not my target to find. My target is either high-grade DCIS or invasive cancers to start. And let's just not be so, and if you don't find it all the time, then you're not going to feel obligated to treat it. That's also another point. So I think, I'm not saying I know all the answers, but I'm saying that we need more experimentation, and people don't have to be so afraid.
Yeah.
We haven't demonstrated sufficiently that intervening early makes a difference in outcome. So we have to face the evidence.
Yeah.
And say, time to regroup.
Yeah.
And rethink.
Yeah.
And again, and the public should be demanding, what are you going to do better? Women who are diagnosed with DCIS are tortured because there's so much controversy. And just like, what Otis was saying, I don't consider, you call yourself a survivor, I don't consider you to be a cancer survivor. And these poor women are like, oh my God, I'm tortured and I'm thinking about this and then nobody even cares about me. And I've been putting through this agony about should I have mastectomy, should I have radiation.
I know, that's got to be horrible.
We have to do better than that. We have to do better than that. And I think it's just, so more experimentation, more thoughts. So my first foray into that is saying, okay, let's not be aggressive about finding things that, we should explain to the mammographers, actually, we're not really interested in uncovering that. We don't need to know about that. We need to know if a cancer develops.
Exactly.
That's different. Or high-grade DCIS. Okay, so let's start there.
Yeah.
Or, just make sure that there isn't some mass or something associated when you find something low. And I think, let's test that. That might make a big, big difference. And, I think that we need to just be, there's some studies out that show that, if you excise these things, only, their risk of progression is very low. And we don't need to radiate or do mastectomies and things.
Well, I guess my last question then goes to prevention. Like you were talking about heart disease and other things, we now know that there's so many lifestyle type changes that women can make to decrease their risk of high blood pressure and heart disease and things like that. Is there any, maybe top 3 things that women could aggressively do in their lifestyle that could maybe decrease their chances of something like this happening to them, or is it just all up in the air?
First thing on the top of my list, don't smoke. Don't let anyone in your family smoke. And don't let the friends of your kids smoke or anyone else. Okay? Far and away, that kills more women than anything. 50 times as many women would be saved if we got rid of cigarettes than screening women in their 40s. So let's just start there. That's the first thing to do. And I think that there is no question that exercise and a low-fat diet is good for every kind of health problem. It's been associated with a reduced risk of breast cancer as well. It's not the panacea that'll prevent everything. And I think women, unlike men, you have to limit their alcohol intake. For men, 2 glasses of wine a day reduces heart disease risk. For women, you don't get as much of that benefit, but you have that increased risk of breast cancer. So, but I don't say don't drink. What I say is 5 to 7 glasses of wine, or 3 to 7 glasses of wine a week. If you want to have 2 glasses of wine when you drink 2 nights, two days a week. That those things, there's just no question there's an association with that. Everything has a trade-off. Life is for the living. I don't believe in extremes, but I do believe there are things you can do to improve your health, and those are the things that it's a lot of it is just common sense.
Yeah.
But that being said, you can do everything right and still get a breast cancer, or still bad things. You can get hit by a bus. Bad things happen to people. We don't have a right to perfect outcomes. We have a right to access to good information, good health. Care. But not good health. And so when something happens, you want to stop, take the time to get educated, make sure you understand your options. If you have a mammographically detected cancer, ask the question, is this a low-risk cancer or not? Maybe I can be less aggressive. And if you feel a mass, don't say, oh, I had a normal mammogram, so I'm not coming in. That's really important, and people need to understand that. And just be aware. Cancer's complicated. Not all cancers are killer cancers. Some are more aggressive and have to be treated differently. Be aware of that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, you're
I
welcome.
really appreciate you taking the time.